Booker. Ban him. Because it's a dangerous sport. Whatever they do and whatever they don't. But I'm having no opinion on it at all. You know, a man's innocent till proven guilty. And I've been in that position myself where you're guilty when you've been pronounced guilty before the trial. I've been there, know it feels. So until the B sample comes up.
UKAD, the British Boxing Board of Control's testing agency, have also tested multiple times in the build-up to this fight. They've all been negative. There was an adverse finding in a VADA test that both teams were made aware of. The levels, the blood tests, everything were analysed by both teams.
You just need to know the details because if the boxing board feel it's safe to go ahead and feel it not an issue, then I'll go with the boxing board's decision. The boxing board are no fools, and therefore they don't want to set precedent. So I'm quite sure if the boxing board are letting the fight go ahead, then I trust the boxing board when it comes to that kind of thing, because remember, if anything bad happened, they will be liable
on Saturday, but we need to talk with them and make them comfortable. Yes, we could use other commissions. It's not something we're looking to do. We want to move forward with the British Boxing Board of Control.
Where are we with the whole B sample? When will we get some clarity on that?
Not before the fight, but again, you know, with the British Boxing Board of Control, that's actually irrelevant in terms of their testing agencies. We've just been waiting for all the final test results to come back.
What can we do alone? So I'm happy with them. And they're the kind of opponents that you want while you're learning your craft away from the pressures and the spotlights and things like that, you know. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy with what, as long as he's active, that's all I want. Now, you know, I need to speak to him and make sure that he's active.
Oh yeah, a lot of people in the world of boxing are shocked. It would answer some questions. Again, we have to let due process go on. I think with Joseph Parker, he needs to maybe follow Tyson's example when he had his issues and just, you know, say nothing or say the bare minimum. Bit like Dylan White as well, say the bare minimum. People forget. Ryan Garcia, people were...
I think it was a miscalculation. I don't think it was a struggle. I think it was a miscalculation. So it's an expensive mistake that he's made.
In regards to what you saw from both men at the end, what did you make of both of them? Did you feel like Chris looked drained, and did you feel like Conor?
Can he give a sample and then a B sample, and they both come back positive for a banned substance?
But I'm not going to lie, guys, you can take that confidence away from him within the first 3 minutes of the fight. And if you come out, start strong, put him a strong jab on him, you can get a reaction out of him, and you can diminish his hopes really quickly.
I think Fabio will know himself. He only has to look at his face after most of the fights. You know, he's multiple lot. I think his defence has had to get better or needed to get better. But I do think off the Hooney fight and the Parker fight, I'm seeing the development of Fabio Wardley as a boxer. I think he's improving in most departments, to be honest. So I think he has bridged that gap, whereas Daniel, I've always thought has got very...
Daniel Dubois just failed a drug test 2 days before his biggest fight, and the boxing world is absolutely losing its mind.
Can he give a sample and then a B sample, and they both come back positive for a banned substance? It doesn't make any sense.
This is the thing, I've got to put my stall up there first. Anyone that's failed drug tests, it's not that I don't sympathise with them.
The timing couldn't be worse. We're talking about the worst possible scenario in combat sports. Your name gets dragged through the mud, your reputation gets destroyed, and everyone's calling for your head before you even step in the ring.
I just feel Dubois gone over against lesser punchers than what Wardley is. And it's more of a mental one. Once it starts going, I feel as though he feels it and then he falls apart and he gets caught with a shot and he just switches off mentally. I don't know what it is. And I think if Wardley gets off to a good start, then this...
Eddie Hearn jumps in trying to do damage control. He's saying Dubois is still cleared to fight, but behind the scenes, complete chaos. They're waiting on B samples, waiting on officials, waiting on anyone to tell them what the hell is actually happening.
Dubois, he just can't really get right. You know, he has no real skill. Pretty durable chin. Art is kind of questionable. But
here's where it gets messy. Dave Coldwell thinks it might be contamination or just trace amounts. But listen, a failed test is a failed test. In boxing, you're guilty until proven innocent, and Dubois' name is already getting destroyed.
A very similar situation to Billy Joe Saunders. I don't know if you remember that situation where he had an adverse finding in his VADA test. The British Boxing Board of Control were made aware and they did not suspend Billy Joe Saunders because they do not acknowledge VADA testing. That is testing that...
The experts are scrambling to explain how substances stay in your system. But that doesn't matter to the fans, the media, or the critics who are already writing him off. The damage is done whether it's his fault or not.
I got Parker. You know, Daniel Dubois, he just can't really get right. You know, he has no real skill. Pretty durable chin. Heart is kind of questionable. But I don't think skill-wise he could mess with Parker. You know, I think Parker would be too much for him. I think Parker would be too much for him early in the fight.
Johnny Nelson drops the real truth bomb. A failed test on fight morning isn't just bad timing, it's dangerous and completely unacceptable. This isn't about one fighter anymore, it's about the entire sport's credibility going down the drain. But wait, it gets worse. Duke McKenzie raises the biggest red flag of all. How do both A and B samples come back positive? If that's confirmed, this goes from bad situation to career-ending disaster in seconds. Now here's the crazy part. Everyone's still analyzing the actual fight like this drug situation doesn't exist. Tony Bellew breaks down how Wardley has more tools and more ways to win than Dubois. Fraser Clark points out something huge. Wardley keeps improving after every tough fight, especially that Parker wore. But Dubois, he's still relying on the same basic style, and his emotions take over when the pressure builds. Paul Smith won't call Dubois a quitter, but he's basically saying it without saying it. When things get tough, Dubois has a pattern of choosing his corner over continuing to fight. That's not physical, that's mental. Dave Coldwell delivers the knockout punch to Dubois' confidence. He's been hurt by lesser punchers than Wardley, and once the pressure starts, his whole mindset changes. If Wardley starts fast, this could be over quick. Johnny Fisher goes completely savage on Dubois, questions his skill level, his boxing IQ, his ability to handle elite opposition. These aren't just opinions, this is the narrative everyone's building around him. So there you have it. A failed drug test, questions about his mental toughness, and critics tearing apart his skills just days before the biggest fight of his career. This isn't just about one bout anymore, it's about whether Dubois can survive the chaos both inside and outside the ring. Here's my question, drop it in the comments. Is this the end of Dubois' career or his chance to prove everyone wrong? If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening, smash that like button and subscribe because this situation is about to get even crazier.
Ban him, because it's a dangerous sport. Whatever they do, whatever they don't, but I'm having no opinion on it at all. You know, a man's innocent till proven guilty, and I've been in that position myself where you're guilty when you've been pronounced guilty before the trial. I've been there, know it feels. So until the B sample comes up.
UKAD, the British Boxing Board of Control's testing agency, have also tested multiple times in the build-up to this fight. They've all been negative. There was an adverse finding in a BARDA test that both teams were made aware of. The levels, the blood tests, everything were analysed by both teams.
You just need to know the details because if the boxing board feel it's safe to go ahead and feel it not an issue, then I'll go with the boxing board's decision. The boxing board are no fools, and therefore they don't want to set precedent. So I'm quite sure if the boxing board are letting the fight go ahead, then I trust the boxing board when it comes to that kind of thing, because remember, if anything bad happened, they will be liable